this guy, what's his name? Cox? Spencer Cox, who's out there talking like we must come together. And then, dog whistles, there's no rioting. There's no, basically just presenting the right-wing talking points and how we need to come together and calm things down. And then he goes on this tour this weekend and giving half information. I mean, aside from the fact that God knows what he's going to do to any attempts to convict this guy, but all of this sort of like it's half conjecture. Yeah, I mean, watch this with the notion that what Spencer Cox is out there going is like, we know 2 plus maybe 2 equals. I'm not going to say what it equals. People are going to have to decide for themselves. That's what he's doing here. And it's that second 2 in that equation that is like vague enough. And then again, you got Kash Patel out there retweeting, reporting that supposedly is attributing things to the FBI, but he has the ability to put out a statement from the FBI. Good.
Understood. I just want to go back to my first question about what you told the Wall Street Journal about that this is a person indoctrinated with leftist ideology. And the reason why I think it would be great to be more specific is because your goal of trying to lower the temperature, you said that this is based on investigation and interviews with people who knew him. Did they just use the term leftist ideology or did they give specifics?
Yeah, there are conversations that were discussed specifically about Charlie Kirk, other conversations about the direction that this was going.
Listen, he is not addressing the question here. He is not addressing the question. And the bottom line is, if you're going to put out statements that this guy has left this ideology, you should be able to, which you shouldn't be doing at this point until you have really like it all sewn up. You should be able to answer her question with, yes, we have had specifics where people we have interviewed who are very close to him have said, quote, he had a leftist ideology. But instead, he's dancing around to all this stuff. Like, the level of irresponsibility of this guy is off the charts. Go back a little bit and just let people listen to the way he responds to this question. It is insane.
Sure. You said that this is based on investigation and interviews with people who knew him. Did they just use the term leftist ideology or did they give specifics?
Yeah, there are conversations that were discussed specifically about Charlie Kirk, other conversations about the direction that this was going. And look, my job is just to tell people I really don't have a dog in this fight. If this was MAGA and a radicalized MAGA person, I would be saying that as well. If the Friends were saying that, I would be sharing that as well. That's not what they're sharing. And so I do think it is important, again, to understand how someone gets radicalized like this. And in this case, it happened as much as people wish it wasn't or don't want it to be this. These are the facts that are being presented to us. If there are additional facts that would point otherwise, but family discussions, parents, this is what they're saying. And these things happen. Yeah. And so it's okay to have these discussions.
Listen, absolutely. And I'm just trying to get more facts. More details of the facts that you're putting out. One last question on that. No,
she's not trying to get more facts. She's trying to get a fact. Conversations about discussions does not in any way even come remotely close to answering what she's saying. So if this guy's able to go out and say he had a left-wing ideology, why can't he state a single fact?
Yes. Someone will testify.
That would be a piece of evidence of that. Not a shred of it. This is just, and the idea that we don't have major mass media editorials or whatnot saying that this guy is acting about as recklessly as you possibly could at this point. In this veneer of trying to be like, I would say it if it was my, you're not saying anything. Except for you're making some broad assessment And you can't even say what one single building block about that is. If it is the case, and we don't know if it is the case, that this guy was in a romantic relationship with another man, or was in a romantic relationship with a transgender woman, if that's the case, that still doesn't mean that this person had left wing. I can tell you right now that there are groypers who are either out and gay or secretly gay. I know this.
Yeah.
That is the case. So the idea that, and we don't even know about whether any of that is true. There's a picture of a roommate wearing a onesie.
And some hearsay relayed by law enforcement.
And this guy goes on and makes assessments in the press. And then when he's questioned as to like, what is one element that is the basis of that assessment? And nothing. Plato.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to have these discussions.
Listen, absolutely. And I'm just trying to get more facts, more details of the facts that you're putting out there. One last question on that. You just said right now, which is something that you mentioned on Friday, is that he had discussions with family members about Charlie Kirk. Do you have specifics on what he was saying about Charlie Kirk to his family?
Just not a fan. That's all I can say.
Okay, not a specific reason why.
Oh, that's funny.
To...
I mean, I don't know why he's laughing, but he's not a fan of Charlie Kirk. You know what? I would have guessed that based upon the bullet that he put into Charlie Kirk. The question isn't whether he was a fan of Charlie Kirk. You're out there saying that he has a leftist ideology. In what way wasn't he a fan of Charlie Kirk? Because you can go back to 2017. Back at the time when Charlie Kirk was okay being on stage with a gay man and in front of TPUSA, and watch the groypers go up and at a mic and go after Charlie Kirk because of this. And they are not fans of Charlie Kirk. You don't have to go back more than a couple of weeks to see Nick Fuentes making it clear that he was not a fan of Charlie Kirk.
You shouldn't let him call himself a Christian.
I was not a fan of Charlie Kirk's, but I'm not going to commit any type of violent acts. That doesn't tell us anything about the shooter. I don't think there was anybody in the country who thought, maybe this was just a really intense fan of Charlie Kirk's. So the governor's going out there making assessments, and when he's questioned on even providing one iota of substance to support those assessments, all he does is say the most obvious thing in the world, that the killer of Charlie Kirk was not a fan of Charlie Kirk's, and just leaves it out there to imply that he was not a fan of Charlie Kirk's because he was a leftist. I don't have any different expectations of people on the right, but the idea that the normie media doesn't seem to be able to point out, like, hey, this is nuts what he's doing here. Nuts. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.